Hey guys, Joe here from XFoxGames. Check it out, we got the, of course, XM1014. If you guys want to know all about the stock version of this, you guys can kind of check it out there if you want to go back and check all that stuff. But, you know, since we've had this, the original performance in FPS, it was just a little lackluster, so I was like, okay, we got to find some upgrades for this. So we picked up, of course, the upgraded 1.2 spring, as well as the aluminum plunger rod. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you the aluminum plunger rod install did not go that well, and I'll tell you about that here in a second. But the spring upgrade supposedly should give you about 25 FPS increase depending on what you're shooting. Now, when I say what you're shooting, with some of these shells, right, you can shoot a full length or a 3/4 inch length. You can use a short dart. You can use the 50 cal balls. There's a lot of different things you can shoot out of here. So depending on what it is, you roughly get a 20 FPS increase. So I just wanted to talk about the upgrades that we did, how easy it is really quick. And you could see here, I mean, upgrading this particular blaster is pretty straightforward. It pretty much opens up, and there's just a few bolts to get everything in there. There are a few little tricky things, but for the most part, if you just open it up, keep track of where everything goes, you shouldn't have an issue. Now, when I say I attempted to update everything on here, the one issue that we had was with the aluminum plunger rod here. Now, this looks almost identical to stock, so I'll pull it up. I mean, lengthwise, everything else, I mean, it looks good. Well, actually a little bit heavier, but it's just more solid. Now, what we noticed is when I started using this, after about 20 shots, I blew the actual kind of plunger head here right off. I was like, what is going on? So luckily for me, I actually had 2 of these, so I put it in the other one and did pretty much the same thing, but I did not upgrade my spring this time, and it happened again, but this time after about 40 shots. So I said, you know what, fine, on the additional one that I have, you know what, I'm just not going to put this in there, and I'm just going to upgrade the spring. Now, I didn't notice an FPS increase when I used the spring and the aluminum plunger rod here. I only noticed the FPS increase when I upgraded the spring. So I've put maybe about 80 rounds through this particular blaster, and I haven't blown the head off the thing here. So I don't know, maybe it's this, maybe, I don't know, but I think this is the culprit. So again, I just wanted to tell you guys that, to be like, look, I just couldn't do it. I fail at stuff, it happens. Now, I want to go out and shoot this thing so you guys can kind of see here. It's hard to see the difference in shooting when it comes to FPS when you're shooting darts with this. I mean, this thing was roughly only shooting about 50 to 55 FPS out of the gate stock. So right now I'm getting roughly about 75 to 80, and it's not that great. I mean, it is okay, but I still wish this thing would shoot like 100 FPS. But these are, of course, gel converted blasters. That's why you've been seeing a lot of these. So it's not shooting anywhere near what I would want. So again, about 80 FPS. Now, with this too, it is hard to control. I mean, the overall accuracy of this thing, you know, again, is nothing to shake a stick at. It's nothing where you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to be able to shoot far and close. Even at close range, it is still kind of wild in some aspects. But the biggest thing about this is the realism. That is really where this thing shines, is the realism, the look, the feel, the loading, the shells. Most people go for that. This thing is not a performer by any means. But there you go, guys. I just quickly wanted to show that, you know, is the spring upgrade worth it? For sure. I mean, 50 to 55 FPS stock is really not that great out of this. 75 is still not that great. 95 would be awesome, but I think with a harder spring in there, the internals were not really meant for a 90 FPS blaster. I think something's going to break in there. Maybe if you can get an aluminum housing or an aluminum plunger housing, then I could see this thing actually being nice. But since these are gel converted blasters, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do any more upgrades to this because I fear that if you just put too much stress on there, it's going to break more of the internals, just like that particular part did. So overall, would I do the upgrade spring? 100%. If you are planning to use this, if it's just going to be something you're going to mess around with, I wouldn't do anything to it, maybe other than the spring. That's about it. Or just use it stock. But yeah, I mean, that is my 2 cents. A lot of people ask me, hey, are you going to do upgrades for it? And the only upgrades that I was able to see for this thing was the spring and that aluminum plunger rod. So I figured, you know what, let's pick those both up and see if it's something that you guys would want to do yourself. So there you go. That is my 2 cents. You know, again, not every upgrade is a winner. Sometimes they break your blasters and you're like, oh my gosh. But in this case, I said, you know, let's just do the spring. I can't put the aluminum plunger rod in there. Anyways, I'm going on a rant there. I'll stop. Thanks again, Fox fans.